Hey, friends, and welcome back to Once Upon a Mouse, your go-to Disney podcast. Today, we're doing a deep dive. We've got a whole stack of articles, guides, notes, all about one really, really crucial part of any Disney World trip. The food, dining, reservations, all that good stuff.
It's a big topic, definitely.
It really is. And our mission today is basically to cut through the noise. We want to pull out the absolute must-know info, the tips, the tricks, stuff that can genuinely save you time or maybe prevent a hangry moment on your next trip.
Yeah, avoid the hangry. Always a good goal.
Right. So we're looking at new rules, booking strategies, cancellations, even where to find a great burger. And here to help us sort through it all is our expert guide.
Happy to be here. It's true. The Disney dining scene changes so fast. Keeping up is almost like part of the planning now. Looking at this material, that constant change really jumps out.
It does. So diving in, what's one of the first big things, maybe a trend or a rule change, that caught your eye in these sources?
Well, what stood out pretty quick was this whole thing around age restrictions at Helen restaurants. Disney's obviously super family focused, but it seems like there's this growing number of places setting specific age limits.
Yeah, I saw that too. The notes say it used to be really rare, but now it's something you genuinely have to check, especially if you're traveling with younger kids. What's the thinking behind it, according to the sources?
It looks like there are a few reasons, really. Sometimes it's about creating a particular vibe, quieter, maybe more formal, more adult-oriented.
Okay.
Licensing can be a factor, too, especially for bars or lounges. And then for those really long, multi-course meals, like signature dining, an age limit kind of helps make sure everyone there is, well, prepared for that kind of experience. It seems less about being anti-kid and more about matching the place to the guest.
That makes sense. You wouldn't necessarily take a toddler to a 3-hour fancy dinner.
Exactly.
And the articles point out some specific spots, like Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian. That's 10 and up. Makes sense for what it is.
Right. And Monsieur Paul in EPCOT, very elegant French place.
Yes.
Also 10 and up now.
Okay. And then Tutto Italia, or Tumite, they call it sometimes. That's an Epcot, too. Ages 8 and up for that one.
Correct. And there's a new place coming, Geo 82 Bar and Lounge, opening June 2025 in Epcot, I think. That one's going to be strictly 21 and over, clearly an adult space.
Wow, okay. And Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, that's at the Polynesian, still 21 and up after 8 p.m., right? Though families can go earlier.
Yep, that rule's been around. So the big takeaway from all this, the number one piece of advice: you have to check the restaurant's official page on the Disney site or the app before you book. Seriously.
Yep.
Rules can change, and showing up with kids only to find out they can't get in, that's not a magical moment. But it's worth saying, most places are still totally fine for all ages.
Right, so it's just a few specific ones to be aware of. Crucial info, though, if you have little ones.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on from who can eat where, let's talk about actually getting the table, reservations, the big challenge.
Ah, yes. The booking battlefield. This is where strategy really matters. And one of the strongest tips, it sounds kind of weird, but it's this: book the hardest to get places first.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when they are in your trip.
Wait, hang on. So if the place I really, really want is on my last day, I should try and book that one before the easier place on day one. That feels backwards. Why?
Because everyone, and I mean everyone, is going for those super popular, hard-to-get spots right when the window opens. If you start booking day 1, day 2, just going in order, you're using up valuable seconds while other people are snatching up, say, Cinderella's Royal Table or Space 220 for later in the week. You got to target the toughest ones immediately.
Okay, that makes sense when you put it that way. And the sources mentioned recent examples, right? Like Shikisai Sushi when it opened.
Totally booked solid. Summer House on the Lake, Cake Bake Shop coming soon, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. All super tough gets initially.
Right.
And you can bet places like that new Geo 82 or Beacon Barrel will be the same. You need to be ready the second that booking window opens.
Okay, let's talk about that window, the ADR system, advanced dining reservations. How does the timing actually work based on these notes?
So generally it's 60 days out for everyone. But here's the key difference. If you're staying at a Disney resort hotel, you can book for your entire stay up to 10 days, starting 60 days before your check-in date. So on that first booking day, you could potentially book something for days 7, 8, 9 of your trip, way before the general 60-day window opens for those specific dates.
Ah, okay. That's a huge advantage. And if you're staying off property,
then it's tougher. You book one day at a time, exactly 60 days before that specific dining date. So you're logging in each morning for each day you want to book.
Gotcha. And the time? It has to be right at
6 a.m. Eastern Time. Online. The sources stress this. Be logged in, ready to flick, right at 6 a.m. You can call starting at 7 a.m. ET, but...
Too late by then, probably.
For the really popular stuff. Yeah, likely gone.
Okay, so the winning strategy. 6 a.m. ET, 60 days before check-in if you're on site. Use that 10-day advantage. Go for the absolute hardest reservation first, then the next hardest, then fill in. Off-site, it's a daily 6 a.m. sprint.
That's the game. You got to play the reservation priority game, like the sources say.
Wow. Planning is intense. Okay, these sources also mention something that can mess this up. Split stays. What's that?
A split stay is just when you divide your trip between different Disney hotels. Maybe start at Pop Century, then move to the Polynesian, something like that.
Why would people do that?
Oh, lots of reasons. To experience different resorts, maybe save some money starting cheaper than splurging, or sometimes there are deals tied to specific hotels.
Makes sense. But it complicates dining reservations. How?
Yeah, this is the snag. Disney system sees each hotel stay as totally separate. So that 60-day booking window, it only unlocks for the dates of your first hotel stay. Oh. Yeah. So if you're doing, say, 3 nights at Art of Animation and then 4 nights at the Contemporary, 60 days before your Art of Animation check-in, you can book dining for those first 3 days. But for the Contemporary part...
You have to wait until 60 days before the Contemporary check-in.
Exactly. So you might have 2 separate early morning booking sessions. The advice is basically mark your calendar very carefully for the 60-day mark for each check-in and stay flexible.
That's a really good heads up for anyone planning that. Okay, another pitfall mentioned. Trying to book multiple meals for the same time slot, like holding backups. Why is that a bad idea?
Well, first off, it kind of gums up the works for everyone else holding inventory. But more practically, the sources say Disney system is designed to spot overlapping reservations under one account.
And it'll just cancel.
It's very likely it'll automatically cancel one or more of them, yeah. And apparently, if you keep trying to game the system like that, it could even flag your account and make it harder to book anything. Not worth the risk.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So the best practice is simple.
Yep. Decide what you want for that mealtime. Book one reservation. If plans change, cancel what you don't need ASP so someone else can grab it. It's just, better for everyone.
Good community spirit, good system sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving beyond ADRs. What about walk-ups or other tips? Bar seating comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah. Bar seating is a great tip. Lots of table service places have bars or lounges. You can often just walk up, grab a seat if one's open, and order right off the full menu. No ADR needed. Super flexible.
And the sources rave about a couple of burgers you can get this way. Better than standard park food.
Yes. The Stack Burger at Steakhouse 71, that's in the Contemporary. Highly recommended. And the Wayfinder Burger at Wooloo Bar and Grill over at the Poly. Both get called out as really high-quality burgers you can snag without a reservation.
Nice. That's a solid tip. And if the bar's full?
Mobile carryout is your friend. Use the My Disney Experience app, order from tons of places, skip the line, grab your food, and eat wherever. Back at the hotel, by the pool, find a bench. Super convenient.
Good backup. Now, amidst all the new stuff, the sources also show some love for the classics, right?
Oh, for sure. They definitely mention sticking with some tried and true favorites, like the No Way Jose Sundae at Beaches and Cream, iconic, total celebration food.
I think I need that in my life.
Right. And the Gasparilla Island Grill Mac and Cheese at the Grand Floridian gets praised for just being ultimate comfort food, creamy, delicious.
Okay.
And the Carrot Cake Cookie from Trolley Car Cafe in Hollywood Studios. It's just a really satisfying, tasty treat. Especially, they say, if it's kind of warm. Simple, but good.
Love those classic comfort foods. Okay, got to cover the not-so-fun stuff.
Yeah.
Cancellations. What's the standard rule?
For most regular table service spots, the rule is you need to cancel at least 2 hours before your reservation time.
Or else?
Or else you get hit with a $10 per person fee. So a family of 4 forgets, that's $40. You definitely want to set reminders.
Yeah, that adds up. But then there are the special cases where it's way worse.
This is super important. It's for the prepaid meals. Think signature dining, some character meals, definitely Victoria and Albert's. Places where you pay the whole cost up front.
Okay.
If you miss the cancellation window or just don't show up for those, you could lose the entire amount you prepaid, not just $10 ahead, the whole meal cost. So you really need to check the specific policy when you book anything pricey or prepaid.
Wow. That's a huge penalty. Good warning. What if you're just running 10 minutes late?
Usually there's a bit of a grace period, maybe 15, 20 minutes, but don't count on it. After that, they might give your table away, and you could still get the no-show fee. Best bet, if you know you'll be late, try and call the restaurant directly.
Okay, good advice. Switching gears to snacks. There's this mention of a red dye No. 3 ban. affecting some treats?
Yeah, red dye number 3. It's a food coloring the FDA has banned, effective 2027. So anything containing it needs to be changed or pulled by then.
And which Disney snacks might have this dye?
The notes mention things like a lot of the pre-packaged candies, especially at Main Street Confectionery, certain lollipops, taffies, maybe some colored popcorn mixes, also things like Mickey cupcakes if they have that really bright red frosting.
So are all red treats endangered? Should we panic?
No, definitely not. Lots of red snacks use different dyes or natural colorings. The sources specifically say things like sour cherry balls, candy apples, Rice Krispies treats, M&Ms, Skittles. They're fine. No red dye 3. Yeah. And Disney will likely reformulate stuff before 2027. But, if you're concerned about dyes, checking labels is always the way to go for now.
Good to know. Okay, from dye bans to pure indulgence, Gideon's Bakehouse. Hot cookie hour. Sounds amazing. Sounds popular. What's the deal with their virtual queue?
Right, Gideon's at Disney Springs, famous for those half-pound cookies. Insane lines. Hot cookie hour is special. They serve the cookies warm and gooey with ice cream, but only between 2 and 3 p.m. and 7 and 8 p.m.
Okay, yum. And the queue.
Because it's so nuts, they often use a virtual queue. You have to physically be there at Gideon's. A cast member signs you up, you give your phone number, wander off, and they text you when it's time to come back.
Simple enough. But there are tricks to timing it for hot cookie hour.
Yes. Crucial tips here. Don't wait until 2 p.m. to try and join the queue for hot cookie hour. Get to Disney Springs much earlier, like maybe 11 a.m. or noon. Check if the queue is running, get in it, and tell the cast member you're aiming for hot cookie hour.
Why so early?
Because the return time waits can get crazy long, like several hours. If you join at 2, you might get called back at 4, completely missing the window. Plan ahead, even for cookies.
Wow. That really shows the level of planning involved now. Okay. Almost wrapping up. Late night food options. Have things changed?
Yeah, a key change noted is that places like Gasparilla Island Grill and Captain Cook's, which used to be 24/7, now mostly close around 11 p.m. Same for most other hotel quick service spots and lounges.
So if it's like midnight and you're starving?
Options get slim. Disney Springs bars and restaurants are mostly closed by 11 or 11:30. The sources basically point to the McDonald's near the All-Stars, which is 24/7. Or grabbing snacks from the Speedway gas stations on property.
Okay, not exactly fine dining, but good to know something exists.
Sometimes practical is all you need after midnight.
True. And finally, after all these rules and tips, the sources kind of boil it down to one only rule that matters.
Yeah, it's a nice way to end it. Basically, after all the complexity, the main point is it's your vacation. Disney dining is about your choices, what makes you happy. Whether that's hitting every hot new spot or just sticking to corn dog nuggets and Dole Whip.
That's a good perspective. Oh, and they added a quick note about tipping too, right? Even if you share.
Yes, important etiquette point. If you get full table service, you should tip based on the service provided for your whole party, reflecting what the full cost would have been. Even if you split an entree, the server did the work.
Good reminder. So the big takeaway is plan for what matters to you, but don't stress too much.
Pretty much. Be informed, have a strategy for the must-dos, but ultimately make the choices that feel right and fun for your trip. That's the real magic.
I love that. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive into the sometimes crazy world of Disney dining. We've covered age limits, booking battles, split-stay issues, cancellations, burger tips, dine news, cookie queues, late nights. Whew!
Hopefully having all this info in one place helps listeners plan a smoother, tastier trip.
Absolutely. And maybe for you listening, it sparks a thought. What's that one classic Disney snack you have to get next time? Or which booking tip is going to change your 6 a.m. routine? Thinking about it now can definitely pay off later.
A little bit of planning goes a long, long way at Disney World.
Thanks for tuning in to Once Upon a Mouse. If you love all things Disney, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more magical content, and click the bell so you never miss an episode. See you real soon.